Hello, welcome back. This is Jeremy, and we're going to be doing our lesson 2 here, Music Fundamentals. It's going to be a quick one. I just want to introduce you to the program called MuseScore, which I'll be using in these tutorials and lessons, and then talk about a few things I left off and a few basic rules about handwritten notation. So if you go you can Google MuseScore or go to their website, which is musescore.org, and download this. It's an open source, free music application, a music notation application that's cross-platform. It works on Windows, Mac, and Linux. So it's great. It's one that I found is a wonderful free option for those that are on a budget. So I just wanted to direct you to that. It's got a good handbook that tells you how to do everything you need to know how to do. So I'll be using MuseScore in our tutorials. Also, the things I left off from last time I didn't really explain are this thing here. It's called a brace. You'll see this in music like orchestral scores or piano music. It just joins two staffs together that are related musically. So obviously on the piano we have the right hand and the left hand, or the treble and bass clef, and when they're joined together in this way, it's typically called the grand staff. And but in an orchestral score, you might also see, the woodwinds or the brass joined together by braces, and it just helps to show what staffs are kind of connected together. Also, these symbols here next to the note heads are called articulations. They refer to how the notes should be played in different ways. And let me bring up a list, or this shows kind of all the different articulations that are available. I'll have a different tutorial on articulations, or I'll explain them as they come up as we talk about in future lessons. So I won't say much about those now, but that's what they are. When you see, sometimes they occur next to the note head, and sometimes they occur above the note. So those are articulations. Okay, so a few simple rules about handwritten notation. Now we've got a great free, thanks to the folks at MuseScore, a free application that you can use, and so you won't need to know much of this. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time or be nitpicky about it. But if you do handwrite notation and you're showing it to other people, these are the things you want to do. Several common mistakes that tip off somebody who's trained in music that that person who wrote this music hasn't really been trained. So one of those is spacing and vertical alignment. So we haven't talked about beats yet, but we will. But basically, if you remember, in this bar there are 4 beats in the bar, and so these notes need to align vertically. So this note here is equal to 2 beats, and these notes are equal to 1 beat each, and these 2 notes happen visually in the space of this note, and so those things need to be aligned and spaced correctly. Give yourself plenty of space. Things don't need to be scrunched up. Another thing is the stems on note heads. So not all note heads have stems, but a lot of them do, and so when you're writing stems, you need to be aware of a few things. So first of all, when a note head falls on the staff below the middle line, then the stem direction is always up. When the note head falls on the middle line and up and above, the stem direction is always down. Whenever you have a stem that goes up, it's always on the right side of the note head. Whenever you have a stem that goes down, it's always on the left-hand side of the note head. So these are sometimes glaring mistakes that people make that shows they haven't been trained in how to write music by hand. So again, stems go up when they fall below the middle line, like these notes all go up, and the stems go down when they are on the middle line or above. Now you get into a couple of exceptions when you have notes that are beamed together, like these, and I'm not going to go into those, but just be consistent about how you do it with stems that are joined together with beams. Also, if you have more than one line on a staff, or more than one voice, like is here, the upper voice always, doesn't matter where the notes fall on the staff, the upper voice, the stems always go up, and the lower voice, doesn't matter where the notes fall on the staff, but they always go down. And that's just to help the eye see the two distinct lines of music. Lastly, accidentals. So if you remember, accidentals are these signs here. Let me bring up. So there's the sharp and the flat and so on and so forth that we talked about last time. When you need to use an accidental next on a note, it goes before the note head, never after. Okay, so that's a common mistake that's made by people. The accidental always goes before the note head, and it goes on the same line or space that the note is on. So if we had to put accidentals on these two notes, the accidental would be here on this line and here on this space. Again, leave enough spacing so that things aren't scrunched together. It's much better to have music spaced out nicely than to have it all scrunched together. So that's the rules about accidentals. Always before the note, and always on the line or space that the note is lying on. If you have a chord, one last little thing, I don't want to get too nitpicky, but if you have like a chord, see these two notes are joined together with the same stem, then you kind of have to say we had like 4 or 5 notes attached to this stem, you kind of have to zigzag the accidentals like this. So you'd start out here, and then you'd have an accidental in, and then out, and then in, and then out. Again, always on the same line and space, and before the note head, plenty of space so that it's easy on the eye. Okay, that's all I wanted to cover in this lesson. Thanks.